Okay, so if you're like me, you may have started out in Blender with a character that had textures, and now you're in Unreal Engine and now you don't have textures. So what are we going to do about this? Well, if you open up this character, you see in his materials, well, the textures are kind of missing. The easiest way to deal with this is to go into Blender and go to your character, and you go to the material editor. Uh, you go to the material properties, and you have your list of textures here. So you see eyelash, and you go to the, where is it, shader editor. So in the shader editor, essentially what you want to do is see what's in it. So it shows you for eyelashes, there's this one texture map, and it's being blended and shown here. So the main important thing is getting the texture map. You can hit here, and this is the bank of textures that MB Labs uses for their textures. If not, this would open up wherever you have your textures. So you can go ahead and find your eyelash texture, save it to a different location, and then once you have it saved to a different location, you can go into Unreal Engine. You can go in Unreal Engine, and then for eyelashes, you go ahead and double click, you go into it, and you import your textures, in the texture folder. And then you drag into here, you connect it to, most of the time, base color. I took it a step farther than that, which I'll show you with this character, which is how he's going to end up looking. If you go ahead and look at his eyelashes, on the other hand, we have the eyelashes connected to transparency, and we have roughness given to it as well. And over here, you can change it to translucent and hair. So you click on here, and you change it to hair, you change it to translucent. Okay, so let's look at the other. This is the pants. There's nothing special going on here, so let's go past that. Pupils, they're black and they have transparency, and we have it set to eyes. And let's take a look at the next parameter. We have the human skin. Okay, this is where things start getting a little bit more interesting. Oh, not. This is the human eyes. Okay, the human skin's where it gets more interesting. So you see here, transparency, it's connected as well, and we have it set for eyes, because this is eyes. Okay, so corners. Okay, this isn't actually a really important one to take note of. If you don't have transparency on, you won't be able to see the eyes properly. As you can see, I have 3 different maps connected: ambient, occlusion, normals, specular, roughness, and stuff like that. So with the corners, the eyes, I have it set to eyes, translucent, and you have to have it connected, which I could probably do to alpha instead of RGB alpha. Let's see what that does real quick, if that changes anything on my character. Looks like we might have wanted the RPG. So you see that messed up the eyes? So let's go back in and fix that, because that is not correct. Wow, that's really off. Okay, didn't expect that to happen. Okay, so let's reapply the texture correctly. Okay, so let's go in the Blender and look at the eyes real quick, because I took some liberties with the eyes because I couldn't get it 100% correct. So in Blender, there's a few different things going on. They have a special shader node, which we don't have in Unreal Engine, for blending all these things. The main thing you want is this texture. The other textures aren't really that important because they're not simple to hook up into Unreal Engine. But what you can do is you can take this texture and you can bring it to a particular website, which is, where is it? Right here. Normal Maps Online. You drag in here, download all. It'll give you a displacement, ambient occlusion, specular, and you can adjust the parameters, but the startup parameters are pretty good. So then those are these other maps I have here, and I've connected them where I can. And that gives more depth to your character's eyes. Okay, so let's go over a few more. Okay, so we went over corners, let's go over iris. So the iris, we have it set to eyes again, opaque this time, not translucent. And we've connected these other maps, which I generated from that website. Okay, so let's move on. Human skin, again, I generated extra maps from that website to connect up here. Okay, so now you might be wondering, why is the skin so orange? If you double click here, and then you click here, you can actually change the brightness, or the saturation, or the hue of your character's skin. So for example, let's see what happens if I change the hue. Oh, he's turning green. This would be great for the eyes though. So you don't have to get the textures correct in character to begin with. You don't have to bring the textures necessarily into Photoshop to tweak the brightness of the skin or the darkness or intensity or anything. Okay, so we have it set to pre-integrated skin here under the shading model, and opaque for the human skin. And let's just go over the last few real quick. Tongue. So basically, it's pretty simple. It's just opaque and it's default. Nothing special. Teeth and nails, again, these aren't anything special. You know, this one, it's just a base color for, oh wait, no, it's not base color, I actually have a texture. Which you get all these textures the same way I was talking about before. In Blender, you look here, which is on the materials, and for the tongue, for example, oh, you can find the material here, bring it in. And in Blender, you can check you know, the settings of things, you know, if it has roughness or anything like that in the textures. Like if you go to preview, you know, you might get some more information, or viewport display, more volume, you know, basically anything here might give you an insight to what you need to change in Unreal Engine. Okay, so then we still have nails to go over. The nails, again, it's pretty simple. I use the pre-integrated skin, opaque, the nail texture. So that pretty much covers that. Once you generate it on one character, you can transfer it to another character pretty easily. So say you have the same character and you have multiple of him in the scene for some reason, or a very similar character. All you'd have to do is, okay, the first texture is eyelashes. You go here, you go to the one that has good eyelashes. You go to the lookup eyeglass, and it brings you to the texture, the good one. So you go to this other character, and you hit the triangle, the append button, or the select asset button. Ooh, what just happened? Okay, I think it just brought it to the beginning of the animation. I was just wondering why it went to the T-pose. Okay, so then you can go back to your other character, eyeglass, go to this character, add it, this character, pupils for the eyeglass, click on this, add it, this character, human eyes, look that up. Over here you can just add it again, and corners. Okay, so this one, we may actually have to make adjustments. If something doesn't come in right, which I think something might not come in right, we may have to make an adjustment in a minute. So the iris, so this is only going to take a minute to get all this on. So that was tongue, right? Human teeth. Oh, human teeth goes there. So tongue. So I put in the wrong slot, now I'm getting the right slot. And nails is the last one. Okay, so let's look at his eyes and see if they came in correctly or not. I think it might have, actually. Yeah, so everything came in correctly. So let's take a look at that animation that I had on here from the sequencer. And he's talking, he's walking, and it looks good. There's some kind of weird glimmer in his eyes going on, so his eye corner texture may need adjusting. I'm not really sure what's going on there, so that's not perfect. If any of you come up with a better MB Lab character from Blender texturing system, please let me know. I'd be curious to see what you come up with. Okay, so my next tutorial that I'm going to be uploading, it might be showing the sky from the background. Maybe. That doesn't make a lot of sense though. I think that might have to do with camera's minimum maximum focusing distance. Something going on with that, so I may play with that later. Okay, so essentially that's it for this tutorial. I'm going to show you how to add dynamic hair with the groom system of Unreal Engine next.